Alright dudes, we're back again today. We're gonna go ahead and finish prepping that surface and getting the head back on the block here. Got the cams finally in today, so they're right here. Plan for today is get everything put back on the 1J and pretty much just ready to drop it in. And I got my motor mounts on the way, transmission mount on the way, the drive shaft still being made. I still have to order the wiring harness and the ECU. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Later.
So we got most of the gasket off, looking a little clean, not perfect, but it's gonna work. So now we're just gonna go ahead and put it on the block.
What the fuck? Oh shit, it's in there.
What?
The stud.
Alright, so when you're installing these ARP head studs, you just want to hand tighten them on the block. And you also want to use this assembly lube that they provide, obviously. So you put it on the threads on the bottom, hand tighten them in, and then we're going to put some more on the top of these and put the head on, put the washer on, and then put the nut on and torque them down to 80 foot-pounds. Extra careful.
Damn.
Pow. Looks like we're gonna have to put the lubricant on the studs first because we can't get to them while the head is on. So we're gonna take the head back off and put the lubricant on and then put the head back on. So we fucked up again. We're gonna have to take the head off again. So we're gonna put these washers on first and then put it through. So fuck us.
Trying to nut on some studs.
You nut on studs, bro? Alright, so we went ahead and went to O'Reilly's and picked this up. This is a 10-piece deep socket, thin-walled sockets. So this is gonna let us take our bolt in the fucking nut. So it covers these different types. Yep.
Now we're in there, boys.
So we're just gonna get these hand tight for now, and then we'll find the torquing pattern and torque them down to 80 foot-pounds.
Oh yo, oh yo.
So right here is our pattern we're gonna go with. You can pause it here and take a picture, whatever the hell. Went over here and it says torque specs, 100 foot-pounds. and this was from ARP's website, I believe. But on here, it's telling us 80 foot-pounds, which is what came in our head stud kit. So we're just gonna go with 80 foot-pounds, and that should do it.
Bigger cams, bigger fucking fart cannon, right?
Yeah, bigger farts.
Yeah. Got them louder, deeper farts.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Oh shit, dude. Busting out the BCs. Exhaust cam going in. Nice and lubed up shaft right there.
Just gotta jerk it off.
Stroke it.
So now I'm gonna go ahead and just lube that up a little bit. And then we're gonna lube these bolts up too with oil. But I'm just gonna put it in right now just so I don't fucking lose it. So this is the exhaust 3. So you're gonna go 3, you're not gonna tighten it, but you're gonna put 3, 7, 1 to start off. You wanna make sure that your arrow right here, can you see that? Is it focused?
Mm-hmm.
So you wanna make sure your arrow is obviously pointing towards the front. And we're just gonna place it on there like so. We're gonna go ahead and get a paint cap with some oil in it and just dip that thing in there. Ooh, I almost fucking dropped it over. Thread it in a little bit. Take this one. Same process. So I'm just going to tighten this down, lube that thing up, boy.
So here's for your reference, if you ever decide to do this.
So we're going to go ahead and start with the 3. And like I said, just ever so slightly. Just hop back and forth. Whenever I feel a little bit of resistance, that's where I'm going to stop. Right there. Right there. So you want to go ahead and set your torque wrench up here to 14 foot-pounds, and we're going to go ahead and get torquing. So same pattern, we're going to go 3. And as you can see, 14 foot-pounds is not a lot. So if you're getting some, if you're cranking it down a whole bunch, you probably want to recheck your torque wrench so you don't break a bolt off like I did in my fucking oil pump. You can see I'm wearing a different shirt. If you noticed, it's a new day, boys. So where we left off, we torqued all these down. One thing you want to do is make sure you have your seals in before you torque these down, because we had to go ahead and take them off again, because you can push them in there, but it's not ideal. When we actually did push them in at first, but when we took this off, I'm glad we did, because there's a spring that's inside these seals, and it was kind of popped out. So if we wouldn't have gone through taking these off again, we would have never seen that, and it probably would have been a big mess. And the main reason we took these off was just to put a little bit of RTV on it, just to give it a little bit of an extra seal. And so now we just put a tiny bit on there just to make sure everything's sealed up. And then we put a tiny bit of RTV right here at the bottom. It was recommended, so that's what we did.
And if you guys are wondering, you can actually take these off with no issues if you want to just take these cam caps off without taking everything else off first. Yeah, you can do that. We just did it.
Yeah, so
we took a chance.
we thought we were gonna have to pull all these off just to be extra safe and not snap any cam gears, but we didn't really want to do that. So we just took a dive into greatness and risking snapping these new cam gears. But
you said cam gears.
You want.
Might have to say it
Snapping
all over
these,
again.
These cam gears that are actually camshafts.
Yeah,
So,
camshaft.
so snapping them was not going to be ideal, but we tried it anyways, and nothing changed. So that should be good to go. Next, we got to put on the cover that goes right here, and then we're going to put on the BC cam gears. Make it look a little fucking sick.
Get in there, Sally. Sally
Sally's
Sue.
in there.
Ooh, Sally's in there.
Now the torque spec for these is 60 foot-pounds. We already got it here on the torque wrench. So what you want to do is find your wrench first, because we always lose shit. Alright, so now we're going to put our sprocket on, and it's kind of tight. Got it on a little bit, Nick did here. So we're just going to give it a little bit of motivation. Yep.
All right, so we got the, we're gonna line up the crank sprocket with the TDC marks. So here we put the crank bolt back on so we could rotate this. And you see that notch right there? I don't know, yeah, you can probably see that. That notch has to line up with this little dot right here. So we need to crank it to the left just ever so slightly.
I'm just going to try to hit it really quick.
Yeah.
And hopefully, boom.
Yes. Fuck yeah, dude. Now we're gonna take that bolt out and line up the cam gears.
We're going to match this mark up on the BC cam gears with this timing mark right here. And if you're putting on the stock cam gears, you're going to have this mark right here, if the camera will focus. So yeah, you'll have that mark right there that you want to line up. We have this lined up. So now we're ready to put the timing belt cover, or what the fuck? We're ready to put the timing belt on.
Fuck. That's it. That's right there.
So you want to make sure that there's 16 teeth in between these two, or 16?
In between the timing marks.
So from here, you're talking about from the timing mark to the timing mark, there should be 16 teeth?
On the belt, yeah. 16 belt teeth. So that marks there. I'm going to center my tightening sequence around the O-ring.
Okay, so this is a 2JZ water pump, and it will work on the 1J. So, but you want to buy the entire water pump. You don't want to buy the front half or the rear half. You want to get the entire 2J water pump if you're going to be putting it on your 1J. And they're usually easier to find than the 1J. So right now we're just torquing down the bolts to 15 foot-pounds. That's going to be our torque specs for the water pump. We're going to put the tensioner pulley right here, and then we'll put our tensioner on, and we'll get to it or something like that.
Yeah!
Alright, so we got our tensioner pulley on. We couldn't find any torque specs on it, so we're just going to get it as tight as we can. Yeah, it looks like we're done. And if you guys can find it or whatever, then you're better than us.
Yep.
We gave up pretty easily, might I add. So now we're gonna put on the actual tensioner and fuck myself. All right, so putting the tensioner on. This is a NTN tensioner. So it's timed. So every time we rotate it, every time we rotate this and put the mark back to that mark, these top marks are 180 degrees from this. We rotate it one more time, and then they all match up. So that's what you want. Was the belt marks weren't lining up with all these marks. That is perfectly normal. That's fine. Just because this belt has to travel way more than these do. So eventually they will line up. So right now, did you put oil in here?
Yeah.
So right now we're replacing the pulley with this aluminum one, and god damn it, I wanted to clear coat these. Looks like I'm not staying here.
Looks like we're done for the day, dude.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spray some clear coat on these, and we're gonna be done for the day. And that kind of sucks because I wanted to get everything put up, but that's cool. I don't want to take the chance of these rusting out or whatever. I don't know if they do or not, but it's not gonna happen on my fucking watch.
Got the water pump on, got the tensioner.
Yep.
And yeah, it's all timed, good to go.
Sweet.
See ya.
Dude, this thing takes so long to shake up.
Dude, catch. God damn it, dude. Oh my god.
Alright, so we're gonna be spraying these real good. So I don't know if there's already a protective coating on it. I got beer in my eye. But we're gonna go ahead and spray them over again because I don't want no bullshit to happen with these. And hopefully there's no beer that got on them. But if there is, fuck it. And they look like shit, but that's what you want. You want them to look like trash.